We've had a garden which is like an extension to the house for quite some time, where we had a conservatory which moved straight onto some decking, and then from the decking into the central area, which is the lawn and the pond and so on and so forth. And it all worked rather well, but it was quite old and tired, and the planting was very old and tired. We had a project to remove the conservatory and create a room where we are now sitting, and the most important thing about that was that we continued with this theme of flowing from the room into the garden, so the garden becomes part of the house. Important to that was the glass you see behind me, which is the complete bifold entrance to the garden. So the garden had to look right in relation to the house, and in order to do that, it meant effectively taking up all of the old tired stuff, which was the wooden decking and all the stuff around that, and replacing it with something that matched nicely into the house.
When Peter came, we had some ideas of our own, but we then sort of finessed those with Peter's ideas. So it was really a combination of our vision and our ideas, and then Peter's ideas in terms of making it really flow and work better. When George and I put our original ideas together with a room that went straight out and a straight line across out into the garden, and Peter actually challenged us on that and said, I think it might be better if we put this angle in here. And we discussed that, and actually yes, I mean it's fantastically, it's much better than we originally thought. So he's not frightened to actually challenge other people's ideas, and we did debate quite long and hard about whether to keep the pond, but we're quite keen on wildlife, so we talked about how we could integrate that and make it more part of the garden. So there was a sympathetic discussion around what we wanted to keep versus how we wanted it to create a particular style. So it's about completing the job to the right standard.
Peter keeps his clients' money very much at the forefront of the work that he's doing, so he would routinely and regularly talk to us about are you sure you want that, because I'm sure you can get something cheaper somewhere else, type of thing. And certainly that was the situation with the slabs that we have out here. We did select these because they are lovely, they're really beautiful and natural stone, and yeah, sure, we could probably have got concrete blocks somewhere else a lot cheaper, but what's important to us is the longevity of this garden. This has to look great for a very long time to come, and the only way that's going to happen is if we have quality materials, and Peter recognised that, but he said, I think I'd better go and have a look myself, which he did. He came back and he said, they are absolutely fantastic. I absolutely agree with you. They are the right stones. And if you're able to pay for them, then that's what we will fit. We bought just enough. Literally, there was not one slab left over, any waste whatsoever. It was that tight. But we're glad we did it properly, and Peter's team laid them absolutely perfectly.
Excellent.
Because, as he puts it, he treats our money as if it was his money, and so he's sort of got an eye on that all the time. So 3 people arrived on site, including Peter, and all the equipment. The equipment was brought through the house because this house doesn't have access around the side, so everything had to be brought through, which in itself was quite a major task.
It turned up with this little digger which went through the rooms. They had to dismantle some of the door frames at the same time, but that was fine. And they were very respectful of what we wanted to keep and what we were going to get rid of anyway. So
and within a day, what was a reasonable garden turned into the Battle of the Somme.
We knew it was going to get bad, but we didn't realise how bad it would get. And it rained as well a lot, so it was a mess. And we looked at each other and wondered what on earth we'd done.
And Peter said, just keep the faith.
And we did. We had a lot of frogs in the garden, and when we had a little stream which had to come up, the guys found the newt, and they very carefully push it back into the pond in the vain hope that it would survive. And I think they have survived. I mean, the pond did get quite dirty, but it's now cleared through again, so that's great. But they care very much about things they found. And they moved the plants, so as we were repositioning plants, they lifted and very carefully lifted the plants with the roots in order to reposition them back in the garden. So they were very careful.
They had access all through the project. They were here every day, basically, and we gave them effectively a key to get through the house, to get to the garden. And there was we never felt an imposition, did we?
No.
From their
No.
them being here. So the most important aspect of this garden being an extension of the house is that when these bifold doors are open, there is no step in and out, so it just continues out into the garden. And that was very difficult for Peter to complete, because obviously the garden and that stonework had to be done before this was built, where we're sitting now was built. This floor didn't exist at that time. So there had to be a lot of detailed coordination and cooperation between the builder doing this work, or who hadn't actually really got very far with the work, and Peter, who was actually at the stage of putting these stones down, because clearly if the levels were all wrong, then the water would flow into the house rather than out into the garden, and so on and so forth. And look at it, it's finished and it absolutely works perfectly well. The floors are at the same level as the stonework, and the stonework flows away just neatly, just to drain away. So that's just an example of the level of continuous cooperation that was needed as these two projects came together, the building of the house and the doing of the garden. And having that cooperation between the two teams was really crucial to making this a success. The way I like to think of it is that Peter created not just the sort of the blank canvas, but if you like, the frame around the picture, and allowed us to actually then complete the picture by putting the planting and all the rest of it. And Peter did say he could assist with that through other contacts that he has, but we choose to do that ourselves. But it's completed something which is absolutely spot on as far as we're concerned, and we're looking forward to living in this garden for the rest of our lives. It's going to be great.